more demon dentist. We're on chapter 28, Out of the Fog. After closing the front door of the bungalow as gently as possible so his father couldn't hear him leave, Alfie ran through the empty streets. His destination, the dentist's surgery. This winter morning, a thick mist hung in the air. Where possible, Alfie kept close to the walls and hid in the shadows. There was the chance that someone or something could be following him. Just down the road, a little from the surgery, stood a knotted old tree. Trudging through the soggy fallen leaves at its roots, Alfie hid behind the trunk. From there, he fixed his eyes on the dentist's doorway. The boy squinted to see if he could make out the lettering on the door. Miss Root, MDW, dental practitioner. As the boy pondered what MDW might stand for, above his head he heard what sounded like the hum of a jet engine. His eyes darted upwards. Out of the fog, Alfie saw a figure emerging, flying at speed through the air, high above the buildings, astride what looked like some kind of gas cylinder. Something else was perched on the back too. After circling overhead a few times, the duo began their descent. Even though the town was cloaked in fog, as they came down, the boy had a clearer and clearer view. Soon Alfie could see who it was without a shadow of a doubt. It was Miss Root, the dentist, riding her laughing gas cylinder. The something else perched on the back was Fang. Before long, they reached the ground. There they are, that's what we could see. There's Miss Root and her cat. Oh dear. The dentist turned a dial on the front of the cylinder and the contraption came to a halt at the surgery door. She hopped off with the ease that someone might get off a bicycle. That's how she managed to zoom all over town every night, thought Alfie. Despite having just flown through the air, Miss Root looked remarkably composed. Not only were her clothes immaculate, but not a hair was out of place on her head. Alfie ducked back behind the tree as the dentist stole a quick glance over her shoulder to ensure that no one was watching. Then she disappeared inside, her faithful white cat following close behind. She was carrying the cylinder under one arm and a shiny metal tin under the other. It rattled as she walked. It must be full of children's teeth. Alfie stood open-mouthed in shock. She's a witch, he thought. Miss Root might not wear black or a pointy hat or have a broomstick exactly, but she was a witch all right. Owned a cat, check. Flies round at night, check. Evil, check, check, check. Gabs was right after all. Witches were alive. Miss Root was walking proof. Well, flying proof. And now they were practising dentistry. That's what the MDW must have stood for. A master's degree in dentistry and witchistry. As soon as the door to the surgery had closed behind Miss Root, the streets began to hum with people and traffic. Then from behind the tree, Alfie spotted a little girl with a mass of dreadlocks approaching the surgery door. It was Gabs. True to what she'd told Alfie in the playground yesterday, she was going to confront Miss Root herself. However, Gabs didn't know the full extent of the evil that lurked behind that door. She didn't know Miss Root had taken out every single one of his teeth. What's more, she hadn't witnessed the horror that Alfie had last night. Before he could shout out, Gabs had pressed the dentist's bell. In an instant, the door buzzed open. Alfie had to warn his little friend, and fast. He leapt out from behind the tree, but just as he was about to shout the girl's name, someone grabbed him by the back of his coat and lifted him high into the air. Wonder who that is. Chapter 29. Asleep on the toilet. I've been looking all over town for you, Alfred, said Winnie. The social worker was holding the boy by the back of his coat. The toes of Alfie's shoes just scraped the ground. Put me down, said Alfie angrily. Your poor father is worried sick about you. The big lady placed him back down on the ground, but kept a firm hand on his shoulder. I'm taking you straight home. No, I can't go home. Alfie felt guilty that he had run out without telling Dad where he was going, but it was an emergency. Winnie sighed wearily. Listen, young man, she began. I'm not in the best of moods this morning. After your little trick with the coffee revels, I had to sleep on the toilet. Alfie attempted to dismiss the image of that as soon as it took shape in his head. However, the more he tried not to visualise his social worker asleep on the lavatory, the more vivid the image came. Look, I have to get into the dentist's surgery, pleaded Alfie. No, scoffed Winnie. First, I am going to take you home. Then we'll have a little appointment with your headmaster. I'm going to try and persuade him not to expel you. I don't care if he expels me or not. I have to get in there now, shouted Alfie, pointing at the dentist's door. Winnie's eyes narrowed. Try as she might, she couldn't understand this boy at all. Yesterday, the whole town had to chase you all the way there, and now you can't wait to get in. I have to warn this little friend of mine. Well, she's not my girlfriend. She's a girl who's a friend. It's okay if she's your girlfriend, mused Winnie. She's not. Sounds like she is, replied the lady with a big grin on her face. She's not, repeated the boy firmly. No, said Winnie, but just to say, it really doesn't matter if she is your girlfriend. Alfie was becoming mightily frustrated now. Well, she's definitely 100% not my girlfriend and no returns. The social worker fell silent for a moment before continuing. So, this girl, who's a friend of yours, but definitely not your girlfriend, where is she? Gabs. She's just gone into the dentist's surgery. She called me a scaredy cat for not wanting to go, but I have to warn her about the dentist. Winnie shook her head wearily. That Miss Root seems like such a nice lady. What on earth do you have to warn Gabs about? That the dentist is really... Yes. Alfie knew it to be true, but felt very silly saying it. Finally, he plucked up the courage to finish his sentence. A witch! The social worker looked at Alfie for a long while. Then a smile crept across her face before she burst into hysterical laughter. Ha ha ha! A witch, you say? Ha! Yes, replied Alfie firmly. Winnie was still laughing. A witch? That's the nuttiest thing I have ever heard. Well, it's true, he exclaimed. She flies around on this cylinder of laughing gas. That's her broomstick. Ha 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 ha! Laughed Winnie. Next you'll be telling me she has a black cat. White, actually. But it's really evil, replied Alfie. The lady was wiping away a happy tear from her eye now. Miss Root has become a respected member of the local community, and from what I've heard, an excellent dentist. Alfie looked right into Winnie's eyes. Really? Then why on earth did she do this to me? With that, he took out his false teeth and showed the social worker exactly what Miss Root had done to him. Winnie gasped and brought her hand up to her mouth in shock. Oh, no, she whispered. Miss Root did that to you? Alfie put his teeth back in before answering. Yes, and right now my friend is up there in the surgery. Winnie looked up at the blacked-out windows. At that moment they heard the whine of a drill and then the blood-curdling scream from inside the surgery. No! Cried Winnie. Come on, Alfred. There's no time to lose. I wonder what's going to happen. That's it for now, though. Bye.